It's impossible to notice everything. There are just too many inputs. And let me be clear, I don't only mean complex environments where there are the equivalent of fireworks in one corner, an actual bomb-induced fire in another, and a melee of humans of the whole range of intelligence in the middle of it all. Research shows, by the way, that higher intelligence confers no advantage during such confusion. And then when some of the dummies and some of the smarties have made their decisions about inertia or panicked escape or just following the crowd, then when everyone is at one of those pivots, then a Ford F-150, a white one, comes barreling off the avenue and into the crowd as if the property manager had forgotten that it's August and the contractual snowplowing of the parking lot is obviously never done that early in the year. So, in a case like that, where there may be 7.3 billion, estimating, details minimum, like the fact that the driver of the F-150 is slumped over the steering wheel and, invisible except to the omniscient, his right foot is jammed atop the gas pedal due to the stroke he had not 47 seconds before. In a case like that, it's no surprise that nobody could notice everything. But the same is true where I am sitting right now in a secluded part of the Grassy Lakes Trail where the executive summary of what I can see when I look up is water and sky. It's the opposite of a place where you aren't dodging a careening pickup truck, but instead actively scouring the view for any kind of movement, anything. You've probably read that book chapter by Giorgio A. Ascoli in Trees of the Brain, Roots of the Mind, where he discusses some of the limitations, let's call them, of the brain, where he makes it clear that it's not a supercomputer that can process anything and learn anything. Ascoli's chapter is called, quote, The Capability of Acquiring New Knowledge, unquote, and his point, to the extent that I understand it, is that the human brain has about 100 billion neurons and 1,000,000 billion synapses. So the reason it is so hard to acquire new knowledge or to perceive everything in any one situation is that, as he puts it, even, quote, just a simple association of a sound to a sight, for instance that of a buzzing beetle, likely requires the concerted formation of multiple synapses and therefore the spatial overlap of all the corresponding neuronal cables, unquote. So the claim of omniscience that is made for God in the Bible is pretty extraordinary. Just think about what he has to keep track of, one with more action, so to speak, occurring than in the other, but God's claim is for knowledge of all things at all times. Even if he were limiting himself to his special creation, humans, on the earth currently, you're talking about what more than 8 billion people are up to, all the time. God also famously doesn't intervene in any of the actions or events he knows will happen, no matter how horrific, at least not in our era. Just yesterday, he allowed 14 newborn babies to burn to death in a maternity ward at a hospital in Islamabad, Pakistan. I won't ask you to try to imagine the baby's experience as fire ripped through the ward and some staff reportedly simply fled the scene rather than help the most helpless. In the much-touted Bible, there are seas that are parted, loaves and fishes that are multiplied to feed a bigger crowd than expected, water actually converted into wine, and on it goes. But God has gotten a lot less interventionist in his retirement. I can imagine the excuses. He hadn't had enough sleep the night before, and so was too drowsy to be in top form with the miracles. His Achilles tendonitis was acting up. He had done the math and concluded that 14 is only 0.000000175% of 8 billion. So heroic action hardly seemed mandatory from the standpoint of population growth or diminution. I contacted God about this. No, not through prayer, which is notoriously fickle and ineffective, but on his cell phone, 555 GODTEXT. I was surprised that he took the time to reply because he was so busy taking care of. Oh, wait, well, I guess I shouldn't be so surprised. What exactly is he tending to with any care at all these days? He's got time on his hands. He's equipped that throne with enough throw pillows to choke a bull, and he's mostly just lolling and doom scrolling. And as we've seen, there's a lot of doom to scroll through. So my first text to him was casual, as I never thought I would get any response. Hey God, why did you let those Pakistani babies die? I texted, and then put my phone back in my pocket and continued on my way to my appointment with my audiologist. But within seconds, I heard the telltale triple beat notification I have set up on my phone for texts. And so I took the phone out again and was surprised to see a response, any response. It was in Aramaic. Listen, I texted back, you know I don't speak Aramaic. English, please. His response came quickly, quote, there are betimes good fortune or evil that make me become involved in anything that happens in the land. I wish that I could say that I am not able, but I cannot because of course I have all the power. I wish that I could say that it is because I have never done so before, and so I have a principle not to act. But of course I have intervened and interfered many times, as documented in my own scripture, unquote. This was going nowhere, and I was less enthralled by the honor of receiving a text from God than hearing him talk like a teenager who has been caught smoking. I blocked him and pocketed my phone again. So, I was no longer in the woods. I was now standing near the corner of 12th Avenue and 1st Street Southwest, and I had to get out of that bustle as soon as I could. The people talking, the cars driving slowly so as to avoid pedestrians who wandered onto the road, the screech of tires when a red light came too quickly for one driver. I ran as fast as I could down First toward where I had parked my car, a pizza place, a Thai massage, and a church going by me, or me by them. And did I see something called chocolate condos? I sat in the car panting, and I could see my foggy breath forming on the windshield as the overpopulation of the outside had diminished, and there remained only a dull muffle of sound, with only the occasional squeal of laughter. I felt protected.